This is the answering technique for the law of agency, specifically on the formation of agency by ratification. As usual, to answer a case study, you must have four essentials. IRAC, they are issues, law and authorities, application, and conclusion. So the first one is issues. For the issues, the main thing is that you have to find out what are the problems arise in the question. By looking into the problems, you can find the relevant main law that is related to the problems. And then in order to find the main law, it can be found by finding the clues to the main law in the question. So, by using the main law and the highlighted problem, start your sentence with whether. For this issue, you have to raise out the question. What is the relevant main law relating to the problems in the question? Now, let us discuss one sample of question. Intan has been instructed by Mutiara to buy 50 kgs of rambutans for a price not exceeding 7 ringgit per kilogram. Intan ordered the rambutans under her own name from Pak Majid for a price of 10 ringgit per kilogram, since that was the lowest price in the market. Intan requested Pak Majid to deliver the rambutans to Mutiara's house. When Pak Majid delivered the rambutans, Mutiara refused to accept the rambutans because the price exceeded the amount she had authorized. When Pak Majid demanded the payment, Mutiara refused to pay on the ground that the price of the rambutan was too expensive, and furthermore, it was bought by Intan herself. Advise all the parties involved. Now, in order to find the issues, find the clues from the question which may lead you to the main law, which might relevant to the question. From this question, from the first sentence, it mentioned that Intan has been instructed by Mutiara. So here, there is agency relationship between Intan and Mutiara. Mutiara is the principal who gives authority to Intan to buy 50 kilograms of rambutans. And it is mentioned clearly in the question that Intan must buy the rambutans for a price not exceeding 7 ringgit per kilogram. So this is a clue showing that there is a limit of authority for Intan, where she can only buy the rambutan only up to 7 ringgit per kilogram. Normally, under the law of agency, if the question mentioned about limit of authority, so this fall under the agency by ratification. And further, what happened in this question, Intan bought the rambutan for a price of 10 ringgit per kilogram. So this is also lead you to another clue saying that Intan has exceeded her authority. Why? Because the limit of authority is 7 ringgit, but she bought for 10 ringgit. So this is clearly a clue towards agency by ratification. And what happened in this case, Intan ordered the rambutans under her own name. As you can see that under the agency by ratification, there are 9 valid conditions to be fulfilled to become a valid agent by ratification. And one of those conditions is that the agent must contract in the name of the principal, not under the name of the agent himself. So what happened in this question? Problem arises because Intan ordered the rambutans under her own name. Now, the main area of law relevant to the question definitely is about agency by ratification. And what happened further? When Pak Majid delivered the rambutans, Mutiara refused to accept. So this is clearly also under the agency by ratification. You know that when the agent exceeded the authority, the principal has the option, has the choice, either to accept or reject the contract. So here what happened? Mutiara refused to accept. Here we want to see whether Mutiara is bound to the contract or not. So these are the clues to the question which lead us to the agency by ratification. Therefore, this is how you write the issues. You relate the main law, that is agency by ratification, with the problems in the question. First, whether there is formation of agency by ratification between Intan and Mutiara, because we want to determine this since Intan has exceeded her given authority. Second, whether Intan is a valid agent by ratification, because Intan has contracted under her own name. And third, whether Mutiara is bound to pay Pak Majid under agency by ratification. So these are the suggested issues for you. Okay, after writing your issues, then you go to the law and authorities. So for this law and authorities, you have to explain all the principles of law relating to the agency by ratification with all the sections and cases available. So bear in mind, for this law and authorities, you don't need to explain or to discuss about the question, the problem in the question. You only have to give the law relating to the agency by ratification. So this is the sample of the law and authorities. You have to start your law and authorities with the definition. Definition, what is agency, principal, agent, under section 135. And then you have to list down the 5 modes of creation of agency. For this, you only have to list down, no need to explain. In the list, of course, the agency by ratification is mentioned, right? So after that, only you go into detail about the agency by ratification. You have to define the meaning of agency by ratification, and then you have to explain the 2 situations, how the agency by ratification may happen in terms of the agent exceeding authority or agent acted without authority or someone acted without authority on behalf of another. So you have to explain section 149 where the principal has the option to accept or refuse the contract. What is the effect of the contract upon the principal? And then you have to explain in detail all the 9 conditions of a valid ratification with all the relevant sections and cases available. This is the sample, this is the answer scheme for the agency by ratification. This is the law and authorities which you should give in your answer. Remember, you only have to explain the legal principles, sections and cases available, which are relevant to the main topic in the issues. With regard to the problems in the question, no need to explain in this part. You have to discuss the problem in the question only in the next stage, that is application. Okay, so the third step is that you have to do the application. So for this application, this is the time for you to solve the problem in the question. The technique is you have to answer the issues which has been given above. When you answer the issues, you have to give your solutions or decisions with legal reasons. You have to decide on the matter. Your solution must be based on the law or sections, cases cited in your law and authorities. So this is the example of the application. By referring to the issues above, now you can solve the problem by answering the issues. This is the suggested application based on the issues just now. Intan is an agent by ratification. Now here we are answering the first issue, confirming that there is agency by ratification. Why? Because she has exceeded her authority. And what's the reason we say that Intan has exceeded her authority? Because she was authorized by Mutiara to buy rambutan for not more than 7 ringgit per kg. But she bought the rambutan from Pak Majid for 10 ringgit per kg. So here it shows that she has exceeded her authority. By virtue of section 149, Mutiara, the principal, has the option either to accept or reject the contract made by Intan. In this question, it was mentioned that Mutiara had refused to accept the rambutan delivered by Pak Majid. Here it means that Mutiara did not ratify the contract and therefore she is not bound to the contract made by Intan. And further, Intan was not a valid agent by ratification. This is answering the second issue just now. Why? Because she contracted with Pak Majid under her own name. So what's the reference? This is based on the case of Kaylee Maxted. Under this case, it was held that the principal was not bound to the contract made by his agent who had contracted under the agent's own name. Now, for the third issue, we are questioning about whether the principal Mutiara bound or not. By virtue of section 149 in the case of Kaylee Maxted, Mutiara is not bound to the contract by way of ratification. Why? Again, because she had refused to accept the contract, and second, because Intan was not a valid agent by ratification. So this is the suggested application for the question. Finally, the conclusion. only one paragraph, 3 to 4 sentences will be sufficient. You just have to summarize the law that relevant to the question, concise and concrete. So this is the sample of the conclusion. Briefly, if an agent exceeded his authority, the principal has the option to accept or reject the contract made by the agent. If the principal refused to accept, the principal is not bound to the contract made by the agent. If the principal accepted, the principal is bound to the contract with the third party by way of agency by ratification, provided all the conditions of a valid ratification must be fulfilled or met. This is the summary or brief explanation about the law relating to agency by ratification where the agent exceeded his authority.